Man, Laker fan. Bubble trouble for the Lakers. Bubble trouble for the Lakers, man. Tough L. It looked like a W, man, coming down the stretch, but TJ Warren, where he started his game, he left off and helped seal the win for the Pacers. And an L for the Lakers, man. 116 to 111. Welcome to the Lake Show podcast. I'm going to get into my game recap, and I'm going to go in on AD and Coach Vogel because, in my opinion, man, this loss is on them both the most. So, anyway, welcome to the Lake Show podcast. If it's your first time to this channel and you're looking for a different flavor of Laker basketball content on the tube and you value objectivity, rationale, logic, empirical data of substance from a student of the game's perspective, if you guys value that, then you guys arrived to the right channel, man. Welcome to the Lake Show YouTube channel, and consider subscribing. For those who are already subbed, switch that notification bell to get alerts on the videos that I drop. So anyway, man, let's get into this game. Quin Cook obviously has not been good during this bubble and probably majority of the season. He hasn't played up to the opportunity he has with increased minutes up to this point. More ticks should go to Deion Waiters or J.R. Smith, if he's not playing well. He's completely looked like a G League player. Shit, sometimes a player that shouldn't be even in the league. And there's no disrespect to Quin Cook. But, I'm going to be riding with dude. That's my dude. I haven't lost faith in him, man. It is what it is. But I'm not sure if he's, adapted to the role of towel boy or water boy. I got to give him a little shit. But, he doesn't look the same at all. Up until, obviously, him playing well later on within this game, but hopefully he's able to stay woken up as he woke up later on within this game. But I think the Lakers, man, as of right now, in my opinion, fam, they're in their own head. Or hopefully the second option is that they just don't give a shit. They've won, or they clinched the number one seed in the West. They pretty much cemented their place in the playoffs. There's no home court advantage. And maybe they'll turn things up in the playoffs. Who knows? I'm hoping that's what it is. But there's some glaring issues in terms of the lack of floor spacing and shooting. AD not adjusting to double teams. Coach Vogel and his rotations. And then Coach Vogel, with his weird substitution patterns during critical moments of the game. And I'm going to get into them later on. But, some glaring issues, man, for a title contending team. To the point where you have to say it's a Dr. Jekyll and Hyde type of shit, where they could lose in the first round to they can win an NBA championship, and that's not good if they remain with this type of play, or up and down play rather. So, and he struggles. But man, TJ Warren was taking it to the Lakers this entire game. Those comments from Jimmy Butler, man. He said he's a soft dude and that he's an average player or whatever. And I think TJ Warren's like playing. The brother must be playing that audio or something from Jimmy Butler every single day, because the brother has shown more of an arsenal on the offensive end. He's had I think 150 50 point or 40 game. I believe he had of a performance in a bubble recently, and pretty much he's looked like an MVP this entire bubble, man. He about to get paid. I believe he's an upcoming free agent. Warren had 18 points in the first quarter and went on a 9-0 run sometime within the first quarter. The Lakers had no answer for him pretty much this whole game, other than the second half when AD was on him. But majority of the game, man, he was just cooking. He was cooking the Lakers. He was 7 for 11 from the field in the first quarter, 18 points in 11 minutes. That man has been on fuego for the restart of the NBA season, man. And I believe the brother should the brother should definitely send Jimmy Butler a thank you card, man, because he got him motivated. He's a completely different player, man. Sometimes it takes words to be said or your character assassinated, and to see if you're going to rise up to the challenge. And that's what TJ Warren has done. But, Lakers have to shift their mentality. They're acting like, they're so good they can just make a ton of mistakes and lay off the gas pedal and then try to come back for, later on in the game to win. Every team's coming for their head. They're a title contending team, so no team's gonna take it easy on them. The Lakers have to develop that killer instinct out of the jump. Right from the jump, they have to develop that shit, and play all 48 minutes, man. So they getting too complacent, Laker fam. Unless they're saying, like I said earlier, fuck it, we're scaling back to the playoffs. LeBron James tends to do that. Maybe that's what the strategy is. I don't know. I'm hoping that's what it is, fam. I really do, because if it's not, then we in trouble. But I'm not hitting the quote unquote panic button, but I gotta have constructive criticism on shit that I'm seeing. But we'll see when like I said, we'll see in the playoffs, because this is pretty much tune-ups for the team. They clinched the number one seed in the West. They're in the playoffs. Home court advantage doesn't matter in this NBA bubble in Orlando. So it's pretty much for tune-ups and gaining chemistry and then seeing which other players can step up. Lakers weren't in sync to start the game and were down 11 plus to end the first quarter, man. For the last 3 L's they took, including this one against the Pacers, they've shown consistency in terms of their lack of being cohesive as a team offensively, man. And that seems to have dictated their inability to defend at a high level and consistently throughout the game. So it just seems like they're just going through the motions. And like I said, it could be because of the fact that they're just saying, fuck it, we're in the playoffs already. No need to try. And like I said, LBJ has a history of doing that with his teams that he's on. So it is what it is. I mean, you could say that's a passive aggressive type of tactic, but at the same time, it could be a smart one in terms of preventing injury and things of that nature. So we'll see. Again, I hope that's the case. But come playoffs, man, teams are going to be coming out there stronger than this. So they better come out the gate ready to compete. And all those problems with shooting and lack of floor spacing, adjusting to double teams with AD, et cetera, all that shit has to go by the wayside, man, hopefully. So we'll see. But second quarter, LBJ starts the quarter aggressively attacking the cup with 2 strong drives to the rim. At that point, LBJ 6 for 7 from the field, 12 points. LBJ was 4 for 4 as well, attacking the cup. Again, that's where he needs to be in the post, man, and looking to attack the rim as much as possible as opposed to facilitating. He cuts the deficit to 7 at that point, 37-7, and a nice block shot by AD at the 6-minute mark to lead to a Quin Cook fast break layup. And then LBJ hits a 3 to close the deficit to within 2, 40-38 at that time. And then a nice drive and kick by AC to find Cook for a right corner 3, and then hits another 3 for the Lakers to go up 4, 46-42. It's good to see Quin Cook, man, have this breakout game and finally hit open Jays. Quin Cook finding his groove. I've been saying again, and I said it in the beginning of this podcast, he needs to be in motion, moving off the ball where he plays. And sets are ran for him. Watch him in Golden State. Go back and watch him in Golden State. He was consistently in motion, coming off of ball screens. He's not a standstill shooter, man. Good shit by Quin Cook in the second quarter, getting streaky and throughout this game. A cat by the name of Justin, Twitter handle goes by JHBBN23. He stated that Cook doesn't fit on the team, and I'm like, you're missing the point, brother. The Lakers lack nuance in their offense. They lack nuance. It's too much of a AD and LeBron James focus offense. If they had more sets in the half court as opposed to just letting AD and LeBron play playground hoops to the deep collapses, players standing still waiting for open J's, that shit isn't going to work all the time, especially against high caliber teams. They're going to adjust. So players can't get a rhythm like that, especially rhythm players like Quin Cook, Kyle Kuzma, etc. It's not a matter of fit, but rather the Lakers coaching staff and LBJ as the point guard not utilizing their parts properly. That's what it is. So, AD has played great defense on TJ Warren, not allowing him to stay in his groove to start the second quarter. In the first quarter, of course, he was hot, but I thought AD did a pretty damn good job. I don't think TJ Warren had a shot attempt on within that quarter, but AD wasn't good offensively this game, man. 2 for 7 from the field up to that point. I think overall, 3 for 14 or some shit like that. Just atrocious for AD on this game, man. I'll get into him later on, but he was playing good D on Warren in the second quarter, where the Lakers can, they were able to shift things by focusing on their defense, which created offense for the Lakers. Also, I thought AD was playing pretty good ball denial defense on TJ Warren, not allowing him to get in a groove or to catch the ball, man. I don't think he took any shots in the second quarter, and if he did, I believe he traveled in was around, I'm not sure what time it was around, but I'm pretty sure it was late in the second quarter where it led to a block by AD. He forced to travel. He was trying to get him on the pump fakes that he had in the key. AD wasn't falling for it, and then he traveled by switching his pivot foot or something like that, and AD blocked him. But up to that point, AD was playing good defense on TJ Warren, but of course later on he torched us as he did majority of this game, and then sealed the win for the Pacers later on in the fourth. But Lakers outscored Indy 35-20 in the second quarter. LBJ with 17 points, Cook with 13 points, 5 for 8 from the field. Lakers up 5 going into the second half, 59-54. Finally looking more like themselves as they've been in their head the last couple of games or so. Breaking a lot of open shots, the floor spacing. And again, just not coming out fully for the entire game, man. Just lethargic. So again, I hope it's just, fuck it. We're just gonna go through the motions, put up a little fight, and then just whatever. Hopefully that's what it is, but we'll see come playoffs. But Lakers forcing 7 turnovers in that quarter, which led to a change in the shift for the Lakers in terms of taking the lead. So third quarter, Pacers continue to hit shots, overcoming the 5-point deficit off of a Holiday. 3-point shot, deep 3 by him, followed by TJ Warren, then Victor Oladipo with a 3-point shot at the 6-minute mark. Pacers take the lead up 3, 69-66. AD can't allow Warren, who is a smaller player, to push him out of the fucking key, man, to the 3-point line. I'm like, bro, you have 4+ inches maybe or so over him. You have more weight. You have probably about 30 pounds on him. I'm like, bro, you can't allow him to do that. He needs to get mean and impose his will down low. Can't allow defenses to take breaks on him and, not keep the defense honest. That's a mismatch. AD should be feasting in the inside where Warren has given up, like I said, about 4 inches or so. AD settles too damn much for contested J's. I hope he gets with someone like Kareem or Hakeem Olajuwon or shit both. Hell, even James Worthy, man. He needs to improve his post play. He has no go-to moves, man. He has no refinement to his game, no nuance to his game in the post, and he needs to change his mentality and get tough, man, in my opinion. But I'll get later on into him as I ran on AD later on within this podcast. But KCP then hits a 3 in the right corner off of a shot fake, nice ball movement to tie it 69-69. And like I said, AD struggling, man, to read and react to double teams. It's been terrible since the Toronto game. And a lot more teams are going to try to utilize that game plan. Of course, they don't have the same makeup or the same type of personnel that Toronto has, but it's shown to be effective. And that's the problem with AD. He can't allow just any team to double team him, and that plan works. He has to get aggressive. And then not only that, Coach Vogel needs to fucking actually run some sets, whether it's the Princeton offense where he's coming from weak side or strong side to weak side of a down screen set for him to get post position. Whatever it is, the Lakers need to run sets for him and not just have him post up. He's posting. What I noticed about AD is he's catching the ball way too far from the basket, from the basket, allowing teams to push him out, players to push him out. And then he's closer to the perimeter, so there's not spacing because then the guards are on the perimeter. So it's like you need to be deeper in the inside. That's going to cause teams to collapse. And if someone has to come over to help, and then you're swinging the ball on the outside to the 3-point line, that's going to be a large amount of space for a player to travel defensively, and it's going to keep them scrambling. So AD, in other words, has to work on his post game and get deeper positioning, like Dwight Howard, who did a fucking hell of a job this whole game. The Lakers missed him a lot of times in the post. But that's who he needs to emulate in the aspect of getting deeper post position. And, AD holds onto the ball too damn long, allowing double teams to force him off balance. A lot of times he'll throw passes or he'll turn over the ball or he'll try to dribble out of double teams, pass out of double teams. You're doing way too much work. You have to use higher basketball IQ and use ball movement because oftentimes ball movement is it's going to be faster than someone moving, period. So, also he's too J dependent. Needs to add some jump hooks to his game. He lacks inside game like your fan. But the Lakers struggle offensively in the third quarter. Indiana outscored them 33-22 in that quarter. AD was 0 for 4 in that quarter. Hasn't had any impact on the offensive end in this game up to this point. Lakers down going into the fourth quarter by 6, 87-81. And in the fourth quarter, Quin Cook starts off with a 3-point shot in the left corner, gets the lead up to 3, 87-84. Gotta love Dudley, man. Was scrambled defensively, hustles from top of the key to make Holiday airball in the left corner for a 3-point shot, just chasing him off the line or attempting to do so. And then he's behind him, and then Holiday's worried as he's in the air that he may contest a shot or block the shot from behind. That's why Jared Dudley can stay on an NBA roster. That's why he can stay on an NBA roster, man. Good locker room guy and plays his role and gives effort. So, it's the little things that count, Laker fam. It's not just the stats, or anything like that, what's in the box score, but it's plays that are not necessarily on the stat sheet. It's little things like that. Taking charges, being in the right place at the right time, cheering on your teammates, being a good locker room type of guy, whether it's on and off the court, man. Great teammate. Just a standout guy. And Jared Dudley. Howard giving Lakers multiple second chance points. The Euro player, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but on the Pacers, he couldn't contain him. That's a baby down low, man. Man, Howard's a grown-ass man. He's a grown-ass man, but, got an offensive rebound to then dunk and put his nuts in Deuce's face. Let these nuts flow in your face. Oh, man. But Lakers tied the game 90-90 at the 8-minute 8-minute plus mark. And then LBJ then attacks for a spinning layup to take the lead 92-90 on a 13-3 run. Then Kuz for a layup at the rim, 94-90. And then Indiana, man, capitalizing off of the Lakers' turnovers later on within the fourth quarter and missed opportunities on the defensive end. They take the lead at the 6-minute mark, 100-97. And then later on within the fourth quarter, LBJ, nice contested layup to get a 106-103 lead on Turner at the 3+ minute mark. And that's when I thought the Lakers had a W, man. When LeBron James was put back into the game. And I don't know why the fuck Vogel keeps doing that. And I'll talk about Vogel later on. But then things turned around for the Lakers down the stretch. It sucked how this shit ended, man. It looked like a W, but TJ Warren, where he started this game, left off towards the end of the game to close it for the Pacers with a clutch 3-point shot in AD's face to seal it for Indiana. AD didn't hedge on that pick and roll, fam. He allowed Warren to get in a groove. He should have been expecting that, and he should have shown higher on the screen, but he went underneath it, then contested it while TJ Warren had already released it in the air for the 3-point shot, man. Bad defensive awareness by AD. Bad defensive awareness on that sequence. But Lakers fouled a lot, and, Indy was able to capitalize off of, damn near 30 personal fouls, Laker fam. I hardly complain about the refs, but, I felt that they favored TJ Warren this game with some freebies. Then Dwight Howard was getting fucking hacked pretty much all game long. And then they missed calls on him. And then LBJ at times attacking the rim, no calls on that. And then KCP got hammered and then no call. It is what it is. But refs during this bubble, man, for the Lakers at least, they haven't not been calling fouls. But I was disappointed in Coach Vogel with his substitution patterns. I get that he's trying to see what he has in rotation or see more players if he can deepen his rotation. But to not play Dion Waiters, man, the Lakers won on a dry spell. They could have used his scoring today, especially with AD being MIA today versus the Pacers. Vogel also has to stop taking LBJs out in critical times during the game, man. He's done this shit about 2 to 3 times, and it's driving me fucking nuts. It's all resulted in 2 to 3 L's, or it's been 3 L's right now since they lost to the Pacers today. Obviously, you can't expect to bring him in when a team goes on a run. Like, leave him in, and he's been finding his groove, and then he takes him out. Just some weird shit, man. He's on some Luke Walton type of bullshit with doing that type of stuff when he used to do that with the youngins, whether it was with Kuzma or whether it was with Lonzo. But he's on some Luke Walton bullshit, man. But my concern with him as well is his lack of adjustments and in-game bad decisions. He's showing to be suspect at adjusting to AD being double-teamed, with no game plans. He has no structure within the half court. Solid head coach, no doubt. Solid head coach, but championship head coach, possibly in fairness, maybe not. That remains to be seen. He has cost us some games, and I got to be constructively critical of him. This loss is on him and AD, in my opinion. But onto AD, man, I got to say, he's been soft. He's been soft these last games, particularly against the Raptors. And then obviously had that comeback game, and then for the last few games he's been soft. You can't let TJ Warren, who's 3 to 4 inches shorter than you, push you out of the paint and then force you into contested fadeaway jump shots, man. Working harder but not smarter. AD is way too talented to have to dribble into offense. It makes no damn sense, man. And Stan Van Gundy, rather, was saying, what's the point of AD doing dribbling into his offense. He's dribbling right into double teams. They're just waiting for him there. Makes no damn sense. And he knows he's going to be double teamed. So just the lack of offensive awareness from AD, man, in terms of him being double teamed, he has to improve drastically. He's been shitty. That's one of his major weaknesses as a player, is passing out of the double team, and then also his physicality in the post. But AD has no post moves to go to. He needs to implement some jump hooks to his game. He's mostly finesse. He settles too much, way too fucking much for jump shots. And he's shooting in the 40s or mid 40s or so, or under 45%. He's not a good enough shooter to be settling for jump shots. He needs to develop his post game. Get with Hakeem or Kareem to learn more of the post game. Also, I'd be looking at Kevin McHale, man, if I'm AD, because he's similar to him in terms of finesse big. But Kevin McHale, man, by far is one of the best post technicians in NBA history, man. He was automatic, 15 to 18 feet, or deep in the post, man. He was automatic for getting good deep post position and then having up fakes and/or a fadeaway jump shot or baby hooks. He was automatic. He was by far, other than Hakeem Olajuwon, Kevin McHale by far is probably the most potent offensive post player in NBA history. So that's who I'd be studying if I was AD as well. Kevin McHale, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, players like that that are finesse type of bigs, but also understand how to get deep post position and utilize their footwork and not work harder to get offense in the post. That's who he should be looking at, man. He's also shitty passing out of double teams, as we know. He holds onto the rock way too damn long, waiting for double teams to make him off balance, and then he turns it over. AD needs to react faster to double teams, man, as opposed to fucking holding onto the ball and all that stuff. Repost for better positioning. Move the ball. Don't just wait till double teams to come to you and then try to move it at that time. He needs to react faster, and I've been saying this. If you can't do that with your back to the basket, face up so you can see more of the court, and double teams trying to come, force the ball to come towards you and force the ball out of your hand. But since the Raptors game, man, he's showing disengagement in his emotion. It has been poor, Laker fam. He needs to get tough and show some fucking balls and not just cave in. He doesn't have the heart at this time to be the number one option, or to not be an alpha male. He's a number two cat, and he's probably been that. That's why he wanted out of New Orleans. He realized it was probably too much pressure for him. Let's be real. That's why he joined LeBron James, who's the alpha male. So he's a Robin to a Batman. He's got ways to go to develop that mental toughness and desire and the will to say, I'm not going to let anyone or any team take me out of the fucking game. He needs to be authoritative in his demeanor. He's too laid back. He's too fucking passive when shit becomes hard for him. And it's kind of annoying, man, to watch a great player with his talent just, be passive and just throw himself out of the game like that. Because I credit Indiana, but it's more so AD and his lack of mentality. He should, expect double teams all the time, and he should work on ways to nullify it. It's not just him; mostly it's on Coach Vogel as well. Again, he has to show adjustments in terms of offensive structure in the half court to alleviate pressure on Anthony Davis. But I'll end with some positives. My guy Quin Cook with 21 points off the bench, 8 for 14 from the field. I've said it all along. And y'all can go back and hear my podcasts. I believe it was the one where I talked about Rajon Rondo's injury, and I speak on Quin Cook being a secret weapon or so, or at least an option that's serviceable or more than serviceable if utilized properly. I never lost faith in Quin Cook, man. I've been pulling for Duke because I know what I've seen of him. I know what he can do as a role player, and I know that he stepped up time and time again, being an adequate backup in critical moments for the Golden State Warriors, whether it was in the regular season or in the playoffs behind Steph Curry, man. You can't just forget about stuff like that. I didn't. Some cats have short-term memory on that, but I didn't. And also, I believe if Quin Cook is utilized properly off the ball and put in pick-and-roll situations, coming off of the ball in rhythm, he'll be able to provide some spacing for the Lakers, and he could be that streaky player, man. Don't sleep on my dude. Don't sleep on Quin Cook. Hear me loud and clear, man. Quin Cook is more than serviceable, for real. Sure, he lacks size at the point guard position and ball handling skills, but he can space the floor. He can shoot the ball, and his best ability is to move off the ball. So that's going to create the defensive scramble, man. So the Lakers, again, they need to run sets in the half court position, and that's where Rajon Rondo's missed, man. Laker fans talking shit, Caruso stands talking shit, but Caruso didn't show up today. Victor Oladipo was cooking him a little bit, and then on top of that, as a starter, he only had like 5 points, so he didn't even have much impact on this game. And then he also made some poor reads. I think in the third quarter tried to lob it to Dwight Howard. The fourth quarter, and then that led to more of a run for the Pacers later on in this game. But nobody talks about that. Of course, they want to focus on Rajon Rondo when he's doing bad. Again, the lack of objectivity rather. But they want to be quick to pounce on Rajon Rondo when he makes a mistake. But again, man, people are going to realize how much Rajon Rondo has missed. He's going to make the second unit click rather, and he's also going to make things easier for AD. Just watch. Come to playoffs, man, when he comes back. But Dwight Howard also another positive of this game. 10 points, 12 rebounds. Was a spark plug for the Lakers off the bench on the boards, man, especially. I think he had 4 or 5 offensive rebounds or something, a total of 12. He's going to be used for the Lakers come to playoffs with his toughness inside and rebounding. The only true bruiser we have on the team. The bench was solid this game with a total of 54 points. I like what I saw from THT, the rookie, this game. He's improving off of off of the dribble and with his shot and decision making when in triple threat off the dribble. He has some nice finds to Dwight Howard inside in this game. All right, Laker fam, that concludes the game recap. Sound off in the comment section down below. Until the next one, comment, like, share, and subscribe on Tony and the Lake Show podcast. And I'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully a W. Peace, Laker fam.